Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 699. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Ahoy!
and Tony Korkanak.
Hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to the penultimate episode of 700. Not actually our finale. Yeah, the 699, I don't know, I have to give it something. But welcome to the Gamecast, everybody. We are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Please join us for all these broadcasts live. We will chat with you guys on the air. We have all the content, though, on YouTube, so you can scroll back through everything. So subscribe, get notified when we post, and leave us a comment. We appreciate it, guys. All right, Gamecast. Oh, we have a spoiler cast coming up right after this. So if you watch X-Men 97 Season 1, stay tuned. We'll be doing a spoiler cast of that. Okay, what have we been up to, guys? I'll kick us off because I'm playing the older game that you guys have played already, Spider-Man 2. I am absolutely loving this game. It's fantastic. It's amazing how fast it went by the wayside, but I guess maybe I missed it all, but it was it's very good. I have one gripe, and I talked about it with you guys in Discord. The face models, it's something about their movement. I don't like it. It's across the board, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on what I did the other day. It looks like everybody's wearing a mask, like a fake mask. That's
everyone
what it
is
looks like.
Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's wearing a mask. It just doesn't quite move right. And I understand this is a video game and that happens, but it feels like I just played like a Dragon, and it was way better facial animations. And you can understand those characters better.
For this game,
I think that's
for being a sequel, it definitely was on the lower end of far as advancing the graphical representation, because God of War looks a lot better than this game.
But the tiger incident, I just went through all of this stuff, and it looks phenomenal. The scenery, the black suit, all of that looks awesome.
The environment than the actual individual models and stuff like that.
Yeah, the individual models.
If you do a comparison between just a shot of the street and stuff like that, you could just see much more density in population, vehicles.
Stuff
like that.
There's way more activity.
That's definitely where the focus was.
Right, because the thing is yeah, and I get it, right? Because you only see the models really in the cutscenes or the rare instances where it's you gotta fucking play as Peter Parker or Miles Morales or Mary Jane Parker, and it's okay, this is 10, 15, 20 minutes tops, right? Yep. And it's whatever. So I mean, I get it. I agree. It's got that weird uncanny valley vibe. Where
I think that's what it was for me, is because everything looks so good except for the models. So it's
that's it. It was just
they're just a little bit off.
It's just a little off. That's all. Yeah, that's must be what it is. Because you go back. Go on.
It's funny to me because you mentioned Like a Dragon, and they do obviously have face scan characters and non-face scan characters in those games.
Oh yeah.
But the sort of facial animations are a little more cartoony in that game, a little more pronounced on purpose. I think that might
anime
be
style. Too. They're anime style.
Yeah, it's kind of like that 48 frames a second versus 24 in a movie, right? It's you don't want that ultra realistic sometimes. You just want that movie magic.
I think Spider-Man, if you really break it down, it probably looks more realistic, but it doesn't.
I feel like they lost detail. I feel like they lost detail on the faces. I feel like they lost detail.
Sure if that's what happened. But
that's what I feel
remember.
like.
Again, it's been. I'm so outside of this game. Just because I don't know, it was short and there was so much going on in. Fall of last year, so I've just forgot most of what happened in that game.
I don't know what like I said, I think I'm going after Kraven right now.
So that most of the game, I think.
Yeah, it is. I had my black suit, and I went through this. I did the whole Peter Parker tux sequence, and then I had to fight a mini.
I remember that.
I had my first boss encounter pretty much, and with some guy with a shield, and he was pretty large. I had to just counter. I had to parry him, which I don't like parries, by the way. I didn't like parry. I didn't like the Elden Lord.
Because that was my gripe. Because I love parries. I love Sekiro. I love the Blood. I love Bayonetta and stuff like that. But it felt so out of place. I'm why am I parrying Spider-Man?
It wasn't the same. Yeah, why not just dodge? Like I was like, I can just Spider-Man.
I didn't like that there was moves that you had to parry that you couldn't dodge instead.
I died the first when I fought this guy. I was like, I'll just dodge, not a big deal. And that's what I liked about Elden Ring. Yeah. I can make my mind up if I want to play that game. Granted, parry you need to do on certain occasions, but it's like I could just roll dodge.
They forced you into certain moves, and that's what makes it feel bad. It's like,
I don't
but I think that you have to do this, otherwise you can't beat the character because he's not going to get staggered or whatever. It's like, okay.
I just had that encounter. So, but I do love the black suit. It does somehow. I love the controller. Like I can't. I just can't say enough about this this DualSense, whatever it's called now. Like. I hated the PS4 controller. I will go on record constantly.
I hated it too.
And this is such an amazing controller. The feel, the button, every button feels great. The built-in speaker, it is a phenomenal controller. Battery life, like that was my biggest. It's phenomenal. But I don't need to stay on my stuff. It's a great game. I'm enjoying it. I also picked up. I did a little trade-in. There was a 50% bonus credit.
Nice.
There you go.
Yep. I for those that are on the audio, I got Final Fantasy VII already. The
goat so far.
Yeah, and I went and picked up. GameStop had the 50% bonus, and I was like, that's why I held my Xbox games. I didn't trade any games in. I traded the system. So I was like, well, here we go. And it was good. I got that. I got this, and I got a charging station for free. I got a little charging station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it for free for all the credit for the games. So, whatever. It was good.
Cool.
Good deals. GameStop. That's it for me, though. Tony?
Only big... I'm still trucking through Unicorn Overlord. I'm in the last zone now. Probably about halfway or something like that. Just taking my time with it. Like, I'm not trying to... Because, like, the thing is, like, the next game I'm playing is Elden Ring. DLC, which is not until...
DLC.
Halfway through next month. So I'm like... Not in any rush, but I did download a multiplayer game demo, just because, when I get together with the Easton guys, it's like we get in our rotation, and I'm just like, I'm looking for something new, just to like spice it up a little bit. And I was looking up recommendations because there's so many games on the eShop. We're just like, kind of like going on like the iOS, like Apple Store, App Store, where it's like, what the fuck are you even doing right now? It's like, but there's a game called Boomerang Fu, right? And it's just a PvP title. There's no story mode, nothing like that. But all you do is you select a character, and they're all they all play the same. It's just cosmetic. But you play as some sort of like food-related thing. Like you're an avocado or a milk carton or a donut or an eggplant. And you have a boomerang, right? And it takes place in like a top-down-ish arena. And it's every man for himself, or I think you do teams in the full game. And you just have to cut each other with a boomerang. You get one hit, and so you can obviously throw it as a boomerang, or you could just run up and like do like a swipe with it, right? And you can do it like a dodge and roll. But it is so like it's so fun. We were playing it, and like the interesting thing is like you can when the full version you can play up to 6 players. A demo you're limited to 4, which is still really good considering you don't have to pay for the demo.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not just who won the round. It's every kill you make increases your score. So if I kill like 2 of you guys and then, Jim, you win, like since I still killed 2 people, I get 2 points I think you go to 10 or whatever like that.
Yeah.
So like, you're kind of incentivized to like gang up on people or like not lose to somebody and stuff like that. But it is a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it if like, Corey with your kids, download it. It's on the Switch. And I think it's on all the systems right now and stuff like that. But it's silly, it's fun, and very like addicting. It's just got that like, all right, let's play another round or something like that, or just like, all right, let's go and stuff.
What was that game with the one kick or something like that?
Dive kick.
Yeah, like the one hit.
That's exactly. Somebody even mentioned they're like, oh, it's like dive kick, but boomerang.
Sounds like that.
And stuff like that. And it's silly, but it's really fun. So probably pick up the full version of the game to go up to 6 players and stuff like that.
Cool, awesome. All right, Corey?
Not too much. I'm still going through Final Fantasy, but I only got to play like an hour, so.
Did either of you guys get Aiden Chronicles? The Aiden Chronicles?
I have it. I mean, I backed it.
Yep, okay. I have it.
Yeah,
I'm playing through Final Fantasy, so I don't want to get distracted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start. What's crazy is I have to finish up with Animal Well, which I did play another hour of Animal Well, so I'm like 3 hours in, and the game's not very long, so we'll see how much more time I have with it. But I was busy. That's my work game. So like I just when I got some downtime, my Steam Deck. But I think I'll start bringing in the Switch, and maybe I'll get Eiyuden Chronicles and play that at work.
It's on Steam.
Yeah, well, it's on Steam. Yeah, but I have it. But I haven't played my Switch in a bit, so it's like it's due for a game. So I thought about doing that, but if you guys haven't tried it, I was just trying to get some feedback what you thought. But
I mean, I played the demo of it. They had that early release or it was like a beta or something. Yeah. It's like feels like the not necessarily exactly like Suikoden, but that's like where they're going for, right? And I was saying like the voice acting is very good in this game. I was shocked at how much voice acting there was for this game.
Yeah. Cool. I'll have to check that out. I mean, that's probably next. It's funny because
Final Fantasy should be next.
Well, Final Fantasy's next. But I already had the game planned out. My gameplay is planned out for PS5. It's Final Fantasy 7, and then Tony, actually Mike, you'll be interested. I'm gonna go with God of War, Ragnarok.
All right,
Ragnarok.
Yeah. So that's next after that. I've already have my plotted plan. The problem with this is like my game of the year is going to be tough because I'm not playing a lot of games released this year right now. It's a lot of backlog.
Obviously, that's how I am. It's down
right now.
Yeah,
kind of a quiet year so far.
It's a quiet year, but I don't think the PS5 is going to have much new release this year.
No, I mean Sony themselves doesn't have any fucking thing coming out, which is insane. But
I'll probably pick up Stellar Blade when if I get it on sale or something. I'll probably pick that up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a sale on that
one. Yeah, and it's heading to PC. Or it's like
it seems like it's going to PC. So
yeah, but I got a PS5 now. Let's play it on PS5.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't have to do it on the Steam Deck. Mike, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Evil West, Game Pass game. If you remember, this came out last year.
Evil West.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's deep in the catalog here.
It came out like I guess last month.
XCOM style game, right?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I thought there was. Wait, what is it?
There's Weird West. That's a different one. Evil West plays more like God of War, actually. It's I don't know who the developer is. It's a AA type deal. And it's you play as some cowboy guy shooting and punching and fighting vampires, basically, and all manner.
Third-person shooter.
It's not really a shooter either. It's more like
Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, you're basically.
Totally forgot about this game.
Yeah, it's all about the action in this game. The story's there. It's not well paced or acted or thought out, but it's there. It's okay. But no, it's more you go through different arenas. It's mostly linear. You can go and get extra little power ups or money off little. It's about as linear as I would say Guardians of the Galaxy was. Where you can go down the wrong path to pick up some other stuff. That's about it. But it's fun. It's pretty intense action, and I mean, I'm not insanely like telling everyone that you have to play this, but if you like the God of War type combat, it's similar to that, and I like enough. Probably near the end, I think. I've been playing it quite a bit this last week. It's probably something like a 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. It's solid. It's good. It knows what it wants to do. Doesn't do much of anything else. So it's an action game, a fun little gothic, old school Western vampire fighter. It's fun.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get into some news, guys. I want to start off with Assassin's Creed because I mentioned I forgot to mention the story I told you. I told you I went to GameStop. So I will say that Assassin's Creed games and myself just do not agree. Like I understand people love them and that's fine. Like the games are great. Like it's not for me. However, Assassin's Creed is the new one. Assassin's Creed Shadows was shown. The world premiere trailer was released. It's coming November 15th, by the way, where you actually play as a lethal shinobi assassin and a powerful legendary samurai in feudal Japan. So it sounds awesome. But it's still, I know it's Assassin's Creed, so I'm still not very interested. I'm not going to play the game myself. But
you haven't
seen
gameplay trailers,
huh?
You haven't even seen the gameplay trailer.
It doesn't matter. Like, it's Assassin's Creed. It's gonna play. It should play like an Assassin's Creed game. I'm sorry, it should. And it's not my style of game. I just don't know. I just didn't like it. I never liked the Assassin's Creed games. I tried 2 of them, and I just never got into them. I tried the second Assassin's Creed 2, and then I also tried Assassin's Creed. What was the one with the Egypt?
Oh, Egypt one.
Oh, Origins.
Yeah.
So you did try one of
I tried
each.
Rome.
Oh, Odyssey.
Odyssey.
So you tried one of each type of Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I didn't get into
I like the older Assassin's Creed games. Like Assassin's Creed 2 for a while was among my favorite games. The newer ones they're trying to be some sort of like Witcher meets like Elden Ring type deal where it's more exploration, and it's overstuffed with just locations and shit, and it's just you go everywhere, and the story isn't as interesting as it used to be. The modern story is a mess. It's over pretty much as far as I can tell. So I didn't play the newest one. I did play Odyssey and Origins, but I don't know how I feel about this because we have Ghost of Tsushima, so why do we need this?
Well, it's a different company.
Different
also.
company. They want
Call of
their
Duty. Why would
Ghost.
need Battlefield and
No, this is their.
That's
Ghost
what most
of
people
Tsushima,
think.
But
there's one.
It's not really the same though, and like that's the thing. Like as a samurai, you're not going to be hiding in the shadows. That's not the point of the character. But then obviously it looks like he plays both, so which is fine. But like the guy at GameStop was trying to upsell me like crazy on things when I was trying to check out. That's what reminded me of this. He's like, hey, he's like, do you like Assassin's Creed? I'm like, I despise Assassin's Creed. And he wasn't listening to me. He wasn't listening because he's like, oh, we're taking pre-orders on it. He's like, it looks fantastic. I'm like,
I'm surprised you have a GameStop where people care. Like my local GameStop, they never push. In fact, I actually had to bug them. I was like, before you ring that up, I actually want to pre-order Super Mario, RPG.
RPG, yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, we can do that. I was like, what? I was like, this is role reversal here. I'm like, I just had to bug you for a pre-order. Like, I don't know.
Brand new store manager.
Like they're just so defeated, or they understand their place in the.
They just had a GameStop pump. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
this should be on the high right now.
This guy's like
has nothing to do with anything. Any employees at any point in the chain. But I was just saying, my location, they don't even try anymore.
It was funny because I'm not wearing the watch band anymore, but I was wearing my Ahsoka watch band. And after I said no to Assassin's Creed because I despise it, and he's like, wasn't listening. I'm like, dude, I don't want Assassin's Creed. I don't like it. And he's like, oh, that's a nice watch band. And I'm like, I've already I didn't even let him go. I was like, I've already pre-ordered Star Wars Outlaws at Best Buy because it was cheaper than what you guys are selling it for. Well, what'd you pay? I'm like, I got $15 off because they were giving this gift card thing. And he's like, oh wow. And I'm like, yeah, I got a great deal on it. He's like, okay. And he's like, do you want to pre-order anything? I'm like, no, dude, no. Can I just go? I understand what he's trying to do. I work there. I understand how I know how the game is played, but I'm giving credit. I mean, he had a lot of enthusiasm. And when he looked at my watch band, he's like, he's like, that's a nice watch band. He didn't even tell me it was Star Wars. He's just like, that's a nice watch band. That's how he opened it. And I was like, oh yeah,
he knew.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting away from it. But
sorry, but go on.
I'm excited cautiously, and I've not even going to play it. Like I want to see the product first. But the fact that they're doing it after all these years. Because like as soon as it became popular, they're like, oh, and like you're like, oh, like you're playing as assassins. You know who are cool assassins? Like worldwide ninjas. Ninjas are fucking pretty cool assassins. And they're like, no,
some of the originals.
Like, why the fuck wouldn't you want to do that? And then they're like, oh, and like this is before they started dipping their toes into like, what was it, Assassin's Creed 3, where it was like the fucking Revolutionary War and shit. It's like what, like. Paul Revere wasn't a fucking assassin. What are you talking about? Like with his like little fucking tomahawk, whatever things. And they're like, oh, Egypt assassins. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, okay, I guess you guys have drained the pool. And it's like, yeah, I guess we got to do Japan now. Or it's like, we're all right, whatever. Okay, cool.
It's funny
when you
now
think of assassins, you think of ninja. Yes, yes.
It is funny though because like I was saying, there's a lot of these games now. We have Ghost of Tsushima. We have its PC port. We've got that. What was the other game? Is that a Team Ninja game that came out earlier this year?
Ronin or whatever.
Yeah, Rise of Ronin.
Rise
Yeah,
of
that's
Ronin
been out.
I didn't know that came out. Yeah, all right.
It was like middling reviews. It was a little underwhelming, I think. People had
good on
higher
the
hopes for
previews.
it.
Looked very good on the previews.
Yeah, it did. It also looked a little bit like how we expect this game to look.
Everybody wants that next Tenchu game. I mean, someone could make Tenchu.
Well, that's
I don't know who's the
I
property,
love
but
fucking
yeah.
Tenchu.
Yeah, but they haven't found it
no,
yet.
I mean, honestly, this is a little bit more of a wait for reviews one for me. Like I could be convinced to get this game, but we'll wait and see. At the moment, I would be more interested in a Ghost of Tsushima announcement too, but we'll get there.
Well, I mean, I'll say, like, I appreciate what,
but it's not until next year.
Yeah, that too.
This is this one is based on the first Black Samurai, right?
Yeah, there's some controversy online.
Yeah. People are upset. Apparently, Japanese people are upset too, which is funny.
Yeah, but you're gonna play as like Shinobi as well. Like you're not. I don't think it's the same character, right? It's like
that's what it is. People are like the key art has both of the characters on it. They're like, I wanted to play as a ninja, and like all these people are like, oh, is the ninja too good for you? And they're like highlighting it in red. It's like this is the ninja character. It's like circle highlight. Like,
yeah.
But no, people just want to be stupid. And yeah, sure, absolutely. And like that's what I said back when Ghost of Tsushima had success. I said, I guarantee you now we're gonna start seeing all these samurai games, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Sega's interested in fucking porting what is it? Like a Dragon
Ishin. Like a Dragon Ishin.
Right? All of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, we have that. We should port that and release it worldwide and stuff like that.
It's funny. I remember reading some of the interviews, like even like obviously they're a Japanese developer. They're just like, oh, we didn't think anyone outside of Japan gave a shit about this type of stuff. It's like, really? Okay.
I mean, that's how Yakuza started. Like Yakuza was barely a blip back when it released on PlayStation 2. And I was like, oh well, let's just throw it out there with what's whatever can happen, stuff like that. But I mean, this is cyclical. Like it's exactly like horror kind of died until Capcom released Resident Evil 2 remake, and then everybody now is tripping over themselves. Like Konami's like, oh shit, we got Silent Hill, we can remake those games, right? We own that, right? It's like and the EA's like, oh shit, let's do Dead Space, but just the first one. We're not gonna do the most critically acclaimed one.
I'm not going on this rant. Microsoft rant. Sorry, it was gonna happen. I'm not gonna do it. Like Sony knows what they're doing.
Fruit, Jim. Come on now.
Sony is remastering things properly. They don't have a lot of content this year. Give them remasters. Nintendo, the master of remasters. They are the best. They know how to do that. Microsoft, tons of stuff, tons of backlog. We have nothing. We're just gonna close. Fuck them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is too is like I don't know if you put on the news, but like
I may not have actually.
Ninja Theory posted a tweet. They tweeted, and like just on first glance, it was I was like, oh no,
it was like a plea, right? It was like a plea,
It's like a knee-jerk reaction where it's like, oh shit, like this is bad news. It's like, oh, just like, hey, we're launching the game, guys, tomorrow and stuff like that. But I like reading, I'm like, this just reads like a hostage note, right? Where it's like, please buy the game, guys, please. Like,
that's what I got.
If you don't do this, Phil is going to kill all of us. Like at the end of the week.
That's what I meant by my comment in Discord. I was like, he's basically saying please buy the game without saying please buy the game. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I see what you mean now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that company. I feel like Microsoft can't close them right now, but they can do whatever they want. I just feel like that would just be the explosion, the end of the explosion. But I don't know. I mean, they've already lost a bunch. So like they lost. Like listen, like again. Mike's still got his Xbox. You're not. They can close Ninja Theory, and you're still keeping it, right?
Yeah, I'm not. No.
He's got his Game Pass, so.
Game Pass. He's got the value.
Game Pass is serving me well at the moment, and while it still does, I'll still have it.
Oh shit! You can't hear Tony? Tailface. Uh-oh. That's interesting. Tony changed his mic midway through this, and that may be a problem.
Maybe it's OBS. I'll check.
I'm gonna have to dub over the voice on the YouTube channel then. Thank you for chiming in.
He's gonna seem like the guy we talked about from Madam Web then, in the movie cast.
That's all right. Give it a try, Tony. See if you get it's probably your audio in.
Yeah, it's probably.
Can you add it during this, or you have to stop?
Yeah,
okay.
Anyway.
But Microsoft being a shitty company.
So Game Pass is working for me at the moment, but I don't have faith in future endeavors with the company per se. I know if we get to another generation, I'm not starting with that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm PS6 going forward for me. Microsoft's gonna have to do a lot of. Go ahead, try it.
Yeah, I can see it.
You guys,
yeah.
Oh, good, you got it now. All right, yeah. I mean, for me, Microsoft has to do a lot to earn my business back. They got a long ways to go, and I don't think it's gonna happen because I don't think by the time they earn that back, like I said, like on the last podcast or the podcast before, I'm like, Fable 6 or whatever, it's Fable 4 is going to be on PS6 anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, these games are going multi-platform for Microsoft, and so it doesn't matter if I'm in their, like, if I'm into buying their system or not anymore. I am, again, I can't say enough, like, blown away by this controller from the PS5. Like, I really love this controller. Like, it is, I was a big Xbox fan controller. Like, I love that controller, but this PS5 controller is fantastic. Like this is awesome. Like, in my head, I've always given Microsoft the edge in terms of hardware, and that includes controllers. But like, the PS5 is a great system, and the
Jim, did you mute the microphone that picks you up? Did you press the button to make the yellow light come on?
No.
On the controller. So have you ever made any exclamations while getting achievements in these games so far?
No, I haven't done that.
You should listen and see those clips to see if you say anything when stuff happens. I looked back at some achievements. Some of them are funny. Some of them are like, oh, finally, Jesus! You hear me say in the background, doing something. So it's pretty funny. But
always listening.
It's sneaky. It's sneaky, that controller microphone.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it. I love the Venom sound effects, the symbiote sound effects in when you're playing Peter Parker right now. Just hearing that stuff is awesome. When you do the Venom overcharge, like, it's just the snarling. It's awesome. And it adds another layer of immersion that I didn't know was not there on the Xbox. So well designed. Like, I just can't say that enough. All right, and give Sony more credit here. Ghost of Tsushima PC passes 75,000 plus concurrent players on Steam. It's Sony's second biggest launch ever, and number one single player launch, beating God of War. Ghost of Tsushima.
More success on PC. The PC's
killing it.
It's weird. Way to go.
Yeah, killing it. We talked about. I mean, that's like. It's just easy money. I mean, it's gonna make them move these releases up sooner. It's gonna happen. Like, there's no doubt. It may not be day one, but it's gonna be like 3 to 6 months in. You'll get the main launches. Like, you'll get God of War, whatever it's gonna be next on PC 3 months or 6 months after the launch on the PS5. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Typically, it's been 18-ish months.
I think it's I think
this is 4, but that was before they did the whole. They started the initiative, but yeah, we'll probably see smaller and smaller windows and stuff like that, because
I do think same year. I think same year window.
You
grab
within the same year. Within
capitalize on it.
It helps them with, like, game of the year options. I mean, bridge
the gap to the next release, also, whatever that might be.
I still think they would want to keep it about a year, though, and not much closer, just because I think you don't sort of cannibalize yourself as much, and also there's still more optimization they usually need to do to make the PC versions work. I mean, they've had enough problems.
That's why I said 6 months.
Even way later, too, optimizing stuff. So, and maybe, you give a few little extra bells and whistles as well to the new version. It's like a second launch for them, and if you do it within the same year, that might not work the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like you can get like a fresh life, sort of, if it's separate enough, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Ghost of Tsushima's getting second life, like you said, but yeah, I think that it's gonna get shorter and shorter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee it changing for the rest of the PS5 life cycle. Like, I guarantee we're probably going to continue 18-month, but over the next 10 years, I mean, it's hard to not see them going, right? Because it's all about numbers, right? It's all about numbers. I've said this when, we were talking about Game Pass years ago. It's like, as soon as the financiers, they're like, hey, if we release this day and date, how many people will stop being PS5s, right? Or PS6s or whatever it is. But how many more copies are we going to sell? as soon as that number becomes bigger, you gotta do it. Like
it's not about
PlayStation Pass that would get them more profit and more money, they would absolutely switch to it. But they did the numbers. They're like, no, we would lose out right now. And
exactly. It's not. Yeah, it's not about. It's about the money. At the end of the day, it's not about systems exclusivity. It's about money, and so that's why I'm telling you that I feel like it'll be within like a 3 to 6 month window on the PS6. Because I'll go with PS6 release because you're leaving money on the table of the hype of these games. Helldivers prove this. And
that's a multiplayer game again. I do think for their single player game, you get new hype, you get a new release.
Here's the thing, Mike. We have had multiple podcasts talking about the costs of games and studios closing. Something has to happen to make up that money. And that might be PC for Sony, and it's an easy ad because you're not going multi-platform; you're just going to PC.
Well, they weren't initially building PC as a idea to like they're focused on PlayStation, but now they're gonna be like, wait, we can start building the PC version at the same time as the PlayStation version.
That's the point.
So it's gonna get shorter.
This also acts as the tail for these games that don't have a tail. These single.
But you don't also want to like when you're doing it more in conjunction with itself, it's cheaper to do it that way than have a whole new team doing another version a year later.
You launch a game, like let's say you launch a game, let's say God of War comes out and it sells okay on the PS6, like let's say it does, right? 18 months for that studio, like that's not making you money. They're gonna want to make that sooner, Mike. That's my point. Like you can't have that loss. At the end of the day, like I'm not like Microsoft's idea, their strategy. Like they have shit ideas. Like they like I understand what's going on here, but I understand financially what they're talking about because it's like they got to make money based on what they're spending on games. You can't go 18 months of a gap of not making money. Like if you released like Microsoft releasing Hi-Fi Rush and PS5 made them extra money. Granted, they closed the studio anyway, so I don't understand, but it made them tons of money. Like that's the point here. Sony has to do this to make up the cost. These development costs are not going down; they're going up.
Yeah, they're going up.
Game prices are not going to follow it. It's not going to happen. You could raise game prices to $79.99. Doesn't matter. It's not going to make up the difference.
I'm just saying though, if we're like to the point where it's nearly day and date, you get one spike, and I think getting two spikes that are more separate overall might be more.
My point is the distance of it, the length. You can't go that long of not having the profits.
The thing is, there's different levers, right? There's different levers in the sale of a game, and you do have a point, right? Like it is like a second launch of these games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
But the thing to take consideration is, and I'll point out the Sony financials that we got last week, where they announced that PlayStation 5 is at like 60 million units. It's like pretty much selling on par with PlayStation 4, right? So that's good for them, right? Because PlayStation 4 wound up selling 120 million units, across 7 or 8 years, whatever it was. That's great. And I think they've proven that they have their Sony audience, right? Where it's like, that is their core audience, right? So it's like, to them, yeah, like they're going to sell PlayStation, they'll sell, whatever game it is. And the thing is, Matt Piscatella, just on a side tangent from Circana, they said like the top 5 games are all games you could still play in PlayStation 4, which is Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto 5, Roblox, Minecraft, etc., and stuff like that. So the new games, Spider-Man 2, Horizon 2, God of War 2, whatever, stuff like that, like, sure, you're probably getting some of those people that are buying the system for those games, but I think Sony thinks that almost as an inevitability that, like, is there going to be one of those games that will lure you and stuff like that? With the PC releases of their games, you're exploring an audience that would never buy a PlayStation, or like close to never buying a PlayStation, right? Because there are just a lot of markets out there, and I'm not talking primarily America here. I'm like talking about like Japan, China, a lot of other non-first world countries where it's like you can't really justify the cost of a PlayStation 5 because like that's all it does. Whereas like a PC is it can also be your work function, it can also be like a family function, so kind of thing, right? So for the games to have that spike, like that second spike, sure. But at the same time, you kind of run the risk of, first of all, you have to run market again, and marketing costs can be a lot. Ghost of Tsushima has had a fairly reasonable one. Like I haven't seen a lot of like ads or anything like that, but like you open up Steam and like, hey, Ghost of Tsushima is coming. That's great and all that stuff. But the thing is too, is you kind of miss on the hype, right? Whereas like Helldivers 2, I know it's a multiplayer title, but let's set that aside. When Helldivers 2 was taking over, social media and everything like that, people just went out and bought it. Like they're just like, oh shit, I need to get on this train, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if it was like God of War 3 or something like that, where it's like whatever, you have a 96 plus Metacritic single player cinematic Last of Us 3. So I'll use that as the perfect example because it's probably the next title that's going to come out in their portfolio. Whereas like if that was day and date and everybody was talking about it, you had all those PlayStation users and PC people are like, oh shit, Last of Us. It's like, okay, yeah, they can go buy like Last of Us 1 or Last of Us 2, but who knows if they'll stick around for Last of Us 3. And by the time it does release, you're now competing with other PC games that are releasing around that time. And I'll point to Elden Ring, right now, where like all these games moved as soon as the Elden Ring DLC was announced. They're just like, fuck this. Like we got to push our game either forward or we got to push our game back because we just don't want to release in that window. And similarly, last week, Hades 2 got released on early access. And that threw so many indie developers, of course, they're like, oh, well, we had not accounted for going up against the launch of Hades 2 early access.
Yeah.
It's like that just threw a wrench in our fucking marketing plans. Thanks a lot, Supergiant. Fuck them. Like, I'm not saying fuck it, but like I'm sure people in those marketing departments. So again, it's a lot of levers, but it just seems like inevitability that within 10 years, I do think we'll see at least one. And I don't think they'll do it with like a premiere like Last of Us 3. It's not going to be God of War 3, but like, a second tier new IP probably.
But I do feel like they'll move there eventually because I do feel like you can't leave that money on the table. Like let's say you launch and let's say you sell like 10 million copies of the game, right? You want that other 6 million you could get from PC. Why would you not? You're leaving it on the table. Like, would you get it later? Oh. Sure. But what does that mean for a company 18 months later? Like, that doesn't help you when it launches the game and you need to recoup costs. Right. That's the point.
But they're still selling PlayStation 5s at a high rate. And part of the reason is they don't go day and date. Xbox is essentially the only reason why I have an Xbox is because I'm not a PC gamer. If I had a PC, there'd be no reason whatsoever to have an Xbox, and it's been clear for a while. And once that time gets short, like 3 months, that's irrelevant almost at that point, that wait. So they're still in the business of selling consoles, PlayStation, so I don't see them wanting to get that close where they devalue their hardware to that extent. The extent that Microsoft did within one generation. Microsoft's made the Xbox irrelevant, basically, this generation, almost intentionally, it seems, by going day and date. And we've known it's day and date. Game Pass is on PC as well as the actual hardware. So they're essentially out of the hardware industry because they went day and date. And they've been committed to that for a while, which is fine if they're making money, but the PlayStation, again, is not doing the same thing.
I do see your point with that. I do, like, you have to have those games to sell your systems. But Tony's point of like select games, I absolutely could see this happening. There's no like your God of War game may not do it, right? But like, your Jack and Daxter game probably could. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever they come out, there's something like that.
It's not about, and in the end, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's
like
the new
Jim
style.
said, like the ballooning budgets is the problem here, right? And again, like you look at Sony's financials and like for all they're doing, for as great as PlayStation 5 is selling, as great as their games are selling, right? Spider-Man 2 broke 10 million copies, Helldivers 2, 12 million copies in 12 weeks and stuff like that. Their financials, you look at that and it's single digit profit margin, which is not sustainable, right? Investors don't want to be like, hey, here's $1 and get $1.06 back. Like that is such a pathetic return on investment. You're like, I could just stick this in the bank or a safe
savings
stock
account,
right? And make more money than this, right? They need to see more. So the things need to happen where it's like they need to control costs, but they also need to find the new market. So again, it's complex. Like I'm not going to say it's straightforward, but like it just seems like it would be inevitable. And I do think we'll see from some new IP, whatever that next one is. They'll probably test the waters on that. And honestly, I think that's kind of a thing where it's like Sony, to my disappointment with the generation, it's been kind of just, hey, remember PlayStation 4? Like, how about sequels for all those games? And it's like, okay, well, where's my new IP, right? We got like Returnal and like,
I
don't know, like just sequels to all those PlayStation 4, and that's great. That's fantastic. It's better than, in my opinion, the PlayStation 3 days, right? But when you have Spider-Man 2 costing $300 million, 10 million copies still isn't enough. So it's just, we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. All right. And lastly, news, we have Grand Theft Auto 6 reportedly releasing fall 2025.
Fall, Jesus Christ, February?
Yeah.
The industry would be going nuts if it was in February. They need this.
Fall
Matt,
2025.
It's funny, just referencing Matt Piscatelli's like, man, a lot of like predictions, a lot of the industry is counting on Grand Theft Auto 6 next year and Switch 2 next year. He's like, if we do not get those two things, like, and those two things do not perform to the level that they need to perform, it's going to be bad for the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what is that? We don't even know. Like, Sony has a bad year, like a down year this year with releases, right? But what's next year? Like,
I hope that they have some stuff next year, right? That's
Ghost.
the thing.
We hope it's Ghost. We think it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, or Last of Us.
No, there's no way Last of Us is coming next year.
Yeah, we've heard it already.
And we know it's still not Wolverine somehow.
Yeah, well, maybe.
A year later.
Venom.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Venom supposed to be next year?
Who knows? That's all fake news.
Next year or the year after, I forget. Who knows? But it is next.
I will see.
Yeah, but I mean, they have studios working on stuff. Hopefully, I mean, can we get a Bloodborne remake at some point?
Dude,
a remaster.
That's what, like, I'm happy people are enjoying Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm just like, why are you putting everything except for fucking Bloodborne? Like,
yeah.
Again,
the disrespect that this game has gotten.
Exactly. But it is funny. Like, I heard this rumor that I think it was Horizon 1. What's it called? Horizon
Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Got pulled from the PlayStation catalog, their equivalent for Game Pass or whatever like that. And now the rumor is that apparently that game is getting remastered.
Oh.
And I'm just like, Sony, like, you don't need to remaster this game. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't. It's not even 10 years old. What are you fucking doing?
No.
Yeah.
Like, please, like, make new games or re-release older stuff.
I just focus on remaking The Last of Us 10 billion times. I know.
That's exactly it. It's like, why are you selling those games you sold us 5 years ago? Right?
Clearly,
not even Nintendo does that. Not even Nintendo.
Not enough money showing for Bloodborne remaster. There's not.
I mean, all you have is success from like Elden Ring and success from Dark Souls. Like, what the heck? Like,
I mean, I play it.
Stellar Blade did great. Like, and Sekiro's success. Like, this game is a PlayStation classic. People loved it. Everyone loves it, and it's doing something different than what these other Dark Soul type games are doing too.
Yeah, I'd actually love to play it.
Easy money.
Like, talk about I would love to play it.
Easy money.
Oh, Elden! I don't know if the Elden Lord is ready for Bloodborne. There is no.
The Elden Lord is good enough for the. Come on, I'm good. I'm an Elden Lord.
Right, there's no like, hey, I can come back later. It's you do this or you don't progress in this game. Stuff like that. But,
yeah, I mean, there's no open world. There's no open world like, oh, should I gotta go someplace else? No, you have to go through it. Yeah, I know.
And then I don't know if you put this on the news, but it was the last bit the other day. Nintendo actually joining the acquisition party after a couple of years. Did you put that there, Jim, or no?
Which one? No, I did not.
No. So they have saved, and I'm using save, that's my own words, but they acquired Shiver Entertainment from Embracer.
I did forget that.
Which has been, shutting down studios after buying them, just like fucking Microsoft does and stuff like that. But they're a studio that has worked on a lot of Switch downports, like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1, and Hogwarts Legacy. So it's kind of strange, but also good, I think, that they're investing in a team that's very specialized in porting games. Switch has had a lot of, like, what do I call it, miracle ports, where it's like, what do you mean you got Witcher 3 running on this thing?
That's the good one.
Right? Or it's like, how does that even happen? Like, obviously, it's not like the same resolution and the same textures, but you're like, I could play this on a handheld, right? So it's good for Nintendo to have that technical expertise, and I think they'll farm that team out to other studios to be like, hey, Warner Brothers, Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy 2, like, we'll have this group help you do the port and stuff like that, so you can get more games on the Switch 2. Which would probably be less of a
That's
gap.
what I saw with this move. It's like, all right, these guys know how to take the games that have been out on bigger systems and port them to our system. Now let's put them to use to make games that are capable, like with a capable system.
Well, yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that, Mike, because Mortal Kombat 1
has
been drastically improved since launch.
Yeah.
And the thing with a lot of these ports you got to consider is like there's a floor and there's a ceiling, right? Because just to use like some analogy where it's like if you have a famous artist, I'll just use like Picasso or something like that. And it's like, hey man, you have 1 minute to paint me a fucking masterpiece. They're gonna be like, here's a stick figure, man. Like that's the timeline that you gave me, right? Even the best like port studio in the world, if you're like, hey, here's a shoestring budget and you got 3 months to work on this port, like they're gonna be like, well, this is the best we can do. Like you're not giving us the time, but they've supported it since then, and it has increased and stuff like that. So I think you got to look at the ceiling rather than the floor, which Hogwarts Legacy on Switch apparently was really good. I have no interest in the game, so I never looked at it, but
Hogwarts Legacy was a good game. It was a good game.
No, I'm talking about the port.
The port. I know, but the port. Yeah, absolutely. Like like I would love to see, like I said, Switch 2 better hardware than Switch 1, but it's not going to be as powerful as what's currently out there. Yeah, so you need some magic from a studio, and that's what they can do. Absolutely. That makes sense. Sure. It makes sense. It's a good acquisition.
The thing is, the gap between the current systems and Switch 2 is going to be a lot less than
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, like, again,
for a few years, it'll be pretty not that comparable, but close.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, we're getting at the missing returns. Like, I mean, we were even talking about Spider-Man. It's like you look at Spider-Man 2, you look at Spider-Man 1, it's like,
holy shit.
I don't know where that money went. I'm still I don't know, man. Like for just the fast travel, is that where all that money went? The instant fast travel?
I don't know. But all right. It's going to wrap up this Gamecast episode. Once again, folks, we're live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. We have a spoiler cast coming up next for X-Men 97 Season 1. So if you're watching, stay tuned for that. If you don't get these live broadcasts, everything's over on YouTube. So always subscribe to that channel so you know when we post. We'll see you guys soon. We're out.
I'll be right back.